What's up, bikers? Episode 218 of the Biker Bar podcast. It's been so long since I've had a show, and I don't know what the deal is with that, but let's just move on from it. I almost felt like, man, what is my intro? You would think how many times have I said you would think I'd have this dialed by now, and I don't? But hey, here we are. Anyways, real quick, let's talk about a few things. One of them being some of the things that I'd like you to help me support. So this is the deal. As you may or may not know, I'm a veteran, and I've been working with this nonprofit called Disconnect to Reconnect, and we're doing this EMTB fundraiser. So we're trying to raise some money to buy a fleet of e-bikes to be able to help veterans get into riding, or veterans get out and ride. Maybe they don't have a bike, or all kinds of different events, and the e-bikes would really help. So long story short, so far we've raised enough money for one, and so we're moving on to hopefully raise enough money for a couple more. So we'd like to get one in every size, so that whenever we have these events, that we can get people out there and get started. Some of the events that we've had in the past, we've had, amputees too, or sometimes, people that just haven't ever ridden. So the e-bike really helps a lot. So if you're thinking about maybe, I don't know, canceling a Patreon membership for somebody, and you're like, man, I got an extra $5 a month, you can swing by the website, D2R Vets, and set up a monthly thing. Or if you're just feeling generous and you're like, you know what, throw $20 at these guys, or $100 at these guys, or $1,000 at these guys, whatever you want to do, swing by the website. It's in the show description, and help us out. Help us help other vets. So that'd be rad. Outside of that, been riding RE bikes. If you've been paying attention lately, I have been on the new Timp Peak, and I will say they fixed a lot of problems that I was not stoked about on the last one. But there's still a few things that feel like they could be improved on. But honestly, every bike has something that could be improved on. I will tell you this, hands down, this is the only e-bike that I want to buy right now. So I guess that's why I bought one. Anyways, if you're thinking about getting a new e-bike, swing by Ari's website, take a look, and I'll tell you what, you won't be upset about the Timp. It's definitely checking a lot of boxes. Tasco has these gloves called the Ridgeline X, and part of the reason that these gloves came out was me complaining about how I didn't really like the cuffs on the old gloves. So on this glove, the cuff is a little bit shorter, so it doesn't hang over your wrist as much. It has a terry cloth kind of portion over the thumb, so when you wipe your nose, it's okay. Or you can wipe the screen of your GoPro or Insta360. Anyways, the real catch of these is that they got little magnets on the top side of the cuff, and you can stick them together so they stay together in your drawer. Or you can, what I've been using for the most is whenever I take my glove, I'll usually take off one glove so I can squeeze the sweat out of my headband or clean my glasses. And whenever I do that, instead of like trying to figure out where I put my glove, I just stick it to the other one. But they also have a handy dandy little top tube cap that you can get that's not aluminum, so it's magnetic, and then you can just stick them on there too. Do whatever you're doing and not worry about dropping your gloves on the trail. So check them out. Use code B1KER and save some money over there. Last but not least, Cali's helmets. I've been wearing them for years. The Interceptor is pretty much their like flagship enduro helmet, and I haven't used this helmet until about 6 months ago. They had this awesome color design that I liked, and I went for it. And this one's slowly becoming more and more favorite. I can understand why this is the one that they sell the most of. So thinking about a new helmet, maybe it's this Interceptor, maybe it's one of the other ones. One way or another, there's 30% off if you use code B1Cali30, and that's a significant amount of money when you're spending $200 on a helmet. The plus side is, if you do spend $200 on a helmet and you crash in it, all you got to do is send it back to them. They'll send you a new one. So that's a Cali specific thing. Anyways, enough of talking about all these other things, and let's talk about bikes with the Dusty Dutchman. How's it going, dude?
What's up, buddy? Good to see you.
Dude, you too, man. It's been a minute.
I love your segue into me. Does anybody need a helmet? Here's the Dusty Dutchman.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that, but that is
Uh-huh.
actually a really good, just
Yeah.
right smoothly into what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, I know a guy who needs a helmet.
That's funny. So those of you guys that don't follow his channel, just the other day, I'm scrolling through Instagram and this dude's got a picture like sitting in a hospital bed with a neck brace on
Yeah.
and all kinds of other shit hooked up to him. And I'm like, either this guy's really like going like far and beyond on the thumbnail game or like something
Just
bad happened.
fully staged. Yeah.
So
Well,
what
yeah.
what happened, man?
Well, the video I put out today is a pretty good breakdown of it. But ultimately, I think what it really comes down to is just I was a little bit too comfortable on a trail, riding a trail blind for the first time. And I think we were also, the five of us that were riding together were really fired up and stoked. And so we were ripping pretty damn good. And basically it was just, there's this section of the trail that I guess is somewhat famously known for bucking people off of this section. I'm learning this now today, but basically came through a section that's like a little mini step up and then a couple little rollers and then another little mini step up. But if you're not aware of that section and you're not really watching your speed or watching how you're pumping through those rollers, I basically like there's a little mini G out right before and I mean mini, little G out before the second step up in this section. And basically I came into it with too much speed. Instead of rolling the roller, I kind of rolled off of it. So when I hit the base of this lip, I was already compressed. And so then I rebounded on the lip of the jump, or prior to the lip of the jump, and it shot me off to one side of the trail. So ultimately I hit a tree. I hit it pretty much across here. I landed at the base of the tree. It happened in an absolute instant. I mean, I was having the time of my life, and before I knew what was happening, I remember putting my hands out to the tree. Like I remember, like in a split second, seeing the tree right in front of my face, putting my hands out, and then the next thing I knew, I woke up down the side of the hill a little ways with two guys around me and in a lot of pain, and had no idea how I got there. Like that was the scariest part of the whole situation, is just waking up. And I had no context. Like I didn't know that I was riding a bike. I didn't know, there was no context to why I was sitting in the middle of the woods in this situation. So I actually thought it was a dream.
Kind of like you just like popped into a new dream and you
Yes,
opened up your eyes and you're like, I'm 100%. In the middle of the fucking woods. What am I doing here?
100%. I woke up in the middle of the woods and I knew I was messed up, and I was like, well, this doesn't make any sense. So this is definitely a dream. And I remember thinking like, oh, well, I'll wake up pretty quick here and then it'll be fine. And then the guys are starting asking me questions, and in the video, like when I'm back and they're asking me questions, they're like, you know where you are right now? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, well, where? And he's like, I know this sounds stupid, but can you just tell me where you are? I'm like, yeah, of course. I'm, and I had no idea.
It's really strange, that concussion type of stuff like that, because I've definitely done that like protocol with people, and I've had people look at me like, dude, you're a fucking idiot, and tell me exactly where they are. But I've also been in those situations where I've asked somebody and they're like, I'm like, who's the president? And they're like, of what? I'm like the president of the United States. And they're like, and they're just like not there. But everything else that they're saying, they seem like they're there. So it's like really strange to be in that circumstance, because I'm sure as them, they're like, what the fuck, dude? Of course I know where I'm at. I mean, that's how you felt, right? You know, and they asked you and you're like, Illinois. And I'm like, I don't know exactly where you were. So I'm like, is he in Illinois? I don't know.
And I was in Illinois, which is funny to me that I knew that, but I didn't know
Right.
where in Illinois. And if,
Yeah.
eventually it came back, but that was, I've never had that type of experience before. I've crashed, I've had a significant amount of injuries over the years, snowboarding injuries, and
Hmm.
I've broken a lot of bones, and tore up some internal organs, and had multiple surgeries and hardware, and I've kind of run the gamut as far as like the type of injuries I've had, but I have not ever knocked myself out to that extent. Like
Yeah.
I've blacked out, seen stars, I've fallen over because I like lost consciousness for like a split second, but never
Uh-huh.
like out, and
Yeah.
never having to go through the experience of like figuring out what the hell just happened. I've always
Yeah.
been very aware. I know exactly what happened. I know how I hurt myself. I know why I'm in the pain that I'm in. So this that was the biggest eye opener for me in terms of just this specific injury scenario. The whole brain side of it, the whole consciousness side of it is new to me, and it's scary shit.
Yeah, no, it totally is. I definitely like I'm with you on that. I mean, I've I've been riding bikes for basically my whole life,
Hmm.
and I've definitely between that and like skiing and motorcycles and all the other shit, I've
Yep.
definitely taken a lot of diggers and done a lot of dumb shit,
Yep.
but I've never knocked myself out. And I can
Hmm.
imagine like the way that you were explaining your video, like it's just so strange for you to watch yourself. Like you said, it feels like somebody else is in my body when you're
Yes.
watching it.
Yep.
You have
Because it
like
doesn't even
no,
sound like me.
yeah.
And I did there was a longer period of time where I'm like in that semi consciousness,
Hmm.
that I cut out probably like a good minute of it because it was just me just like, oh, just
Yeah.
trying to come back, and they're like coaching me. They're like, come on, hey, come back, hey, do you know where you are? And I'm not answering, I'm not doing anything. But that went on for
Yeah.
like another good minute to 90 seconds. And I took that out because it was kind of redundant. But you
Right.
can see and hear the moment, and it's in the video. But when I finally go, I'm really confused right now, that's when it
Yeah.
happened. And it's so weird how like the tone of my voice, you can see it in Evan's POV, like I like settle and my voice changes, and it's like I'm back.
Yeah.
And so I was in that semi consciousness for quite a while, and I didn't know
Yeah.
that when people are in that semi consciousness after getting knocked out, that they can have these involuntary motions, like all that rolling
Mhm.
around and moaning
Yeah.
and groaning, and like me like kind of like like clamoring for whatever. I've never
Yeah.
seen that before. I didn't know that was even a thing that people do, which I've come to learn that it is.
I would imagine your brain's probably running some kind of scenario, like,
Yeah.
and you're
Yeah.
playing it out like you're almost like you're sleepwalking, kind
Yep.
of.
And it's obviously I've watched it too many times, but even like to me, like the most haunting part of it to me is when I'm not there, like I'm semi conscious, but I still, my body somehow still like was reaching out to Pete, like as Pete's walking up, and it's broken English and it's not super clear, but I'm like, help me, please. And if you
Yeah, it
listen, you
sounded
can
like
hear
that.
me like kind of saying that.
Yeah.
And that's not like, I'm not even there for that. So somehow my mind, my body is
Yeah.
still in that self preservation mode, whether I'm at the wheel or not. That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, and I couldn't tell if there was a point where you were saying help me. It sounded like you were saying like maybe you need to get your helmet off or something.
Oh yeah, yeah. There is a point where it sounds like something helmet's like gurgly,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then I do throw my helmet. In fact, the very first time I watched the video back, like because I avoided it for days, I didn't want to watch
Yeah.
it, and someone said, "Who took your helmet off?" Because they were kind of like asking questions about the scenario and everything, and like wondering about my neck, and what was done to like just what was the triage situation, like
Right.
who took your helmet off, and I was like, it's a great question. I have
Yeah.
no idea. So that's why I went back and watched it, and I take it off and like throw it down. And
Yeah.
that's the thing that finally broke the visor off of it, which sucks. But uh I don't remember that either. And it's like, and I even have under my chin where the buckle, is or was,
Hmm.
where the buckle actually dug into my neck and like screwed up my chin here. There's like a
Hmm.
really like deep indent from even the buckle. Like that's the impact, and my teeth, I chipped my teeth against each other, and like
So
it's
you must
wild.
have like it was hard to tell exactly from the video. So you must have
Yeah.
just like Superman that tree. Like,
Yeah. So yeah, pretty much. So I landed like at the very base of it, and my
right.
head, this side of my head, kind of skipped off of the trunk, and then it
Uh-huh.
and then it came to rest here. So it
So
like
it hit your like collarbone
hit
basically then.
here and then stopped here. Yep. And
So
that's
it
why
skidded
this
off
side
the
of my
side of your
helmet.
head and
Yeah.
then boom onto your collarbone, and that's
Yep.
basically what stopped you then.
And that's why
Because when
that
your
side
buddy
of my
rolls up, you just look like fucking Rip
dead.
Van Winkle just taking a nap. You're
Yeah, dude.
just
I know.
like leaned up against the tree, just like
Yeah.
you're out.
I know. And snoring. And
Yeah,
snoring. Like,
yeah.
what the hell? But
Wow.
yeah, without the full face, it would have hit me. I would have taken it to like my eye socket probably,
Yeah.
and that would have been pretty rough without the
It's
full
really
face helmet.
interesting too, because a lot of the helmet testing that they do is like for like their certifications
Hmm.
are forward contact. So one of the things that when I've talked to the guy from Cali, he's always talking about side impacts are actually what the majority of falls
Hmm.
are, and
Hmm. Hmm.
it's not part of the testing process for the
Interesting.
certification, which is
Hmm.
like even with what's happened to you, like it's sort of frontal, but it's really it's a side impact as
100%.
far as like
Yep.
the way that the force is coming to the side of your head.
Yep. 100%.
It's kind of interesting to like think about that and like ponder,
Dude, there's the amount of variables and like so many different scenarios that can happen at any moment, and where a side impact on a helmet, 1,000 times may never matter, but on that one time where
Yeah,
you need it to be where it needs to be to save your face, like you hope
yeah,
it's there. But there's so many. It's like butterfly effect. You know what I mean? It's like every little tiny change of the way that you rode your bike, or the gear that you decided to wear that day, or anything. It's wild how it all culminates to a situation like this.
there's so much to unpack in this situation, and
Yeah.
like I think the first thing, like the first and foremost, every time that I've had one of these situations in varying degrees, the first thing that I always end up like kind of walking away with is, man, it sure sucks wearing a helmet all the fucking time. But that day, I'm super stoked
Uh-huh.
that I
Yep.
wore a helmet,
Uh-huh. Oh yeah.
And sometimes it's like, oh, that was gnarly, and that like that makes sense why that happens. But a lot of my accidents are always like that didn't make any sense how that happened,
Mhm. Mhm.
and I think that it just reinforces those days whenever you've like got to the trailhead and forgot your helmet, where you're like, no,
Not doing it. Yep.
I'm
100%.
not going out unless I have a helmet. And if it costs me $80 to drive over to Walmart and buy some
Yep.
helmet that I don't even fucking care about,
Yep.
like
Yep.
like
Not
do
worth
it.
it. Yeah. It's
Yeah, because
just
man, like what would be the option if you didn't have your helmet on that day? It's like,
yeah. I feel like it also helped deflect like my head.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
if without it, potentially, if it's just running into soft tissue, it's probably not sliding off or bouncing off the way that it did. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So it's like that deflection, that helmet helped. It deflected into my shoulder, unfortunately,
yeah,
but it deflected off of my head. So like
yeah,
without that, who's to say that it doesn't crack your head open, or it completely break your neck? Like there's
yeah.
a
There's
lot of
so
ways,
many outcomes.
a lot of
And
ways
it's
to
like,
look at it.
yeah, I mean, or is it like freaking scalp you or something?
For
Like,
sure. Yep.
like there's definitely so many like ways that your mind can just chop it up. And
Yep.
I don't know if
And
you're
even
into.
that, I forgot to put this in the video, but my buddies went back the next day. So I stayed. We all stayed in the resort that night because we didn't get out of the ER until super super late at night. So I'm like, it's too late to drive the 3 hours home. So we stayed, and then the next morning we got up, and I was like, well, you know, I got nothing to do. If I go home, there's nothing for me to do. Like, you guys might as well ride. Like, go ride.
Yeah.
I'll just hang out, and I just kind of walked around and filmed, and that's why there's so much like third person stuff in both Evan's video and mine, because I spent that whole Saturday just walking around filming, so I had nothing
Yeah.
else to do. And yeah, I was like, that was my way to like kind of pay them back a little bit for hanging out with me the night before. I was like, you guys spent hours and hours with me at the ER. Let me just, you guys go ride. But anyways, they went back to the tree that I crashed into, and they took video of themselves like kicking it and talking shit to it and all that, you know, as you do. But they were looking at the tree, and the like where I hit it, there was like a little nubbin of a branch sticking out that stabbed into my shoulder. But there's a few others like a couple inches higher that were these longer, like gnarly, like bases of tree branches. So I hit like the best one, like a little bit higher, and maybe that thing goes through my neck. You know what I mean? Like, because it was, it's kind of a gnarly like tree. It's very very jagged, and it's got a bunch of real spiny like branches off of it. Like I said, the one that I hit was like this big, and it punctured. It went in like an inch and a half into my like soft tissue in between my collarbone and my neck. So I got lucky there, but you know, like luckily I hit that part of the tree, because a different part of the tree would have been way worse.
Yeah, definitely. You know, you said something in the video or earlier here on this about that section of trail is like kind of known for bucking people.
Yep.
And I feel like, not that I'm not trying to say like, let's go litigate, but I feel like that should be a sign to the trail builders that they need to adjust something. Like if it's happened more.
Yeah. And it's, that was like one of the craziest comments that I read, is the comment starts off like, while I was watching your video, like I knew where this was going to happen. He's like, as I'm watching the video, I was just waiting for that spot because I knew that was the spot that you were going to crash. And that is like chilling. It's like, oh, really? And yeah, he said there's that particular little G out has apparently been an issue for some people. And he was like, yeah, you really have to check. You got to check up your speed big time right there. Otherwise, this is what happens. Uh-oh. Oh, hold on. Lost my audio. You still there? I can't hear you for some reason. Let's see. Can you hear me? Robert is gone. Okay. That's weird.
All right. I'm going to yell real quick because maybe you can hear me on my other mic, but I just need to adjust something here. Something's going wrong. So give me just a second. If you want to talk about the injuries that you got, that'd be great.
Sure do. Let me just put this right back. Let me go back to here. Okay. So, in terms of the laundry list of injuries, broke my collarbone kind of towards the outside edge of your collarbone, kind of where it meets your shoulder. Same exact spot that I broke it like 2 years ago, which was the first time I ever broke my collarbone. So same spot. I'm not 100% sure that it ever actually healed correctly, because I'm not so good at allowing bones to heal properly, as I've been told by my wife. So collarbone's broken. I don't know to what extent it's broken, because there's so much damaged tissue and so much old bone damage that was already there. They couldn't tell me exactly how bad it was broken. They just said it wasn't displaced, so there probably would be no surgery needed. Compression fractured my T6 and T7 vertebrae, which I've actually done that before. I think I did my T4 and T5 snowboarding years
So
ago.
that's like kind of like in your neck area there, like mid back.
Yep. And they don't do anything for that. It's like basically your spinal cord and the back of your spinal cord, there's like little bone boxes, and they will hit each other from time to time, and they just kind of compression fracture. But basically you end up getting arthritis in your back at an older age. So I'm to that point now for where like my old spinal injury is now giving me arthritis, and now I got some new spinal injuries to give me more arthritis in the future. So that sucks. But the good news is all the bone issues, no surgery needed. And then just like a bunch of road rash. And like where I really took the impact in my neck is just kind of like it feels like just a ball of like scarred tissue, and it doesn't really move very well. It's gotten a lot better now, so that like I can actually move my neck, but there's like a ball of scarred tissue in here it's like kind of pulling and tugging on everything. But yeah, the soft tissue stuff,
man. I had a little bit of a neck injury last fall, and man, it's like, I mean, at this point it's been 8-9 months, and I'm still like doing like the PT exercises. Like it's not like I feel like my life's at 98%, you know, but getting that last like 2% is like, dude, like I get done with a ride and I'm like, oh man, I can't turn my head anime today. So it's more of that used all those tokens. You know?
Yeah. And I really just feel like I kind of recovered from my collarbone injury from 2 years ago, which was my first time breaking my collarbone. Like I really just feel like I was finally over that. Like within the last month, I was like, "Ooh, I feel better now." And then I go add some more to the fire.
So that's what I was going to ask you earlier. Like, what was your like healing process from some of your bigger injuries before? Like, did you like basically get the okay from the doctor X amount of time and then go back out there and it didn't phase you, or did it like kind of fuck with you mentally before?
I can't say that any of my injuries have really messed with me mentally, any of them. But I've always healed pretty fast, and I've always gotten back out as fast as I possibly can. I've never really lingered on anything. I always go back out way before I'm supposed to, which is, not a smart way to approach these things, but I'm not a smart man. So there's that. So I've always just gotten back out as fast as possible. Never thought twice about it. I think this one is going to be the first time that it may affect me in a different way. Like even just thinking about riding now, I feel like I'm going to be timid for X amount of time. So this one, I think like the violence of this one and how random it was and how it was literally nothing. Like it was nothing. Like it was literally just a tiny little lip that I hit wrong, and it, took me out. And that's really hard to come to terms with, that it can go that wrong that fast.
Yeah.
Whether and again, I could have been going slower. I could have been paying more attention. I could have, I should have, like I said in the video, I should have given that trail more respect as, riding it the first time through. But even still, it's like just coming to terms with the fact that can happen at any time, no matter whether you're on a green trail or a black trail. Like the most random shit can just happen and take you out. And that
I think that's the thing that really kind of like burns the most in these type of scenarios, is that you realize that you're actually not in as much control of your life as you think you are.
No.
So to share with you, like I didn't break my collarbone, but I severely separated mine. And when it happened, I was probably 20 feet from where I started moving. And I went over like a little, let's just call it like an 8-inch rock. And when that happened, my fork failed. And at the time I was riding a lefty. So it just dropped my headset straight to the tire and just flew me. And it was a downhill section. So of course, by that point I was probably going like, let's just say 15 miles an hour or something like that. And it was just, that that was the time where I broke the last rubber band of the tendon, and it was like used it all up, and that was for me, like, it was in my mind, it was like, oh, I always ride within my skill set. And then that was an eye opener to me. Like, it doesn't actually matter what your skill set is. No. Like, look, here's a situation where your gear can fail. And like, I never even like contemplated that before.
Yep.
And then maybe a couple years later or whatever, I remember seeing a video on Single Track Sampler, and this guy like did this jump and his like handlebar snapped, and it's like, man, like, holy shit. Yeah, there's some things that I didn't think about that this definitely like brings it to. And I think just like your accident, what happened with me was I wasn't doing anything cool. It wasn't like it was something super gnarly or anything. And just like, because the way that things like played out for me, like it took me like almost 6 months to be able to get back on a bike. And that was really shitty, man. And that's like my therapy and everything. But once I got back on, I rode very timid for a very long time, like probably a couple of years before I like at that point, all of a sudden I was like, I'm down with XC and I don't give a shit. And like anything that looks intimidating, I don't want to do that because I like riding my bike more than I like sitting on the couch. So like,
that's the truth, man.
It really took me like 2 years before I started like wanting to be more aggressive. You know what I mean? And not to say that I wasn't riding hard things or whatever. It was just like that point of where you're like, no, I want to press. Like I didn't have that for like 2 years. 2 years, I was like, everybody takes off and I'm like, sweet, see you guys at the bottom, bitches.
Yeah. And I'm like, I'm wondering if I end up at that place where I'm just like, I don't want to push it anymore. I just want to, be in my comfort zone. I may never go back.
Yeah.
I may never at my age, I may never get to a point where I'm like trying to push it again. I might just find that riding to ride and like really taking it easy. Maybe that's my new forever.
Yeah.
Riding.
I'll say this, and I said this when I commented on your video, like, don't take that as while I was riding, I was like beating myself up thinking, you're a bitch now. You're not riding through. Like in my mind, I was 100% happy and content with what I was deciding to do.
And I think I could be too.
Yeah. So it was no like, I didn't feel like I lost something or like I was missing out. I was just like, no, I'm super stoked with where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
And I think regardless of if this happens to you or not, let's just say it does, and you feel like you're being timid or something. I think that it's really only a matter of time until you get back like far enough away from the injury that you forget and your brain starts being like, so.
Yeah, time has a way of doing that. Yeah,
we got some catching up to do, man.
Yeah. You used to always hit this drop. You always used to hit that. Well,
yeah. It creeps up on you slowly too. Where it's like, I think for me, what really started it was I got this hardtail because I was like, wanting to kind of rekindle some trails, make them a little harder again.
Hardtail, baby.
And I started like getting down the trail as fast as I was on my full suspension. I was like, oh, this is fun. And then I was talking shit to my buddy and I was like, dude, I can beat your full suspension time on my hardtail.
Hell yeah.
And that was just enough for me to start pushing more. And then I kind of got back into that like mindset,
Yeah.
But it's interesting. Go ahead.
I guess the way that I'm going to approach is I'm not going to push myself in one way or the other. I'm just going to feel it out. Like in the past, I've always been like, nope, you got to get right back where you were. You got to go right back to that trail. You got to go do exactly what you were doing before. And in this case, I'm going to get back out there when I feel comfortable. I'm going to ride around, see how it feels. And I'm not putting any pressure on myself to go one way or the other. Cause I don't I don't owe anybody anything in terms of the way I ride.
Right.
I just have to ride the way that is going to be safe and comfortable and fun for me and be sustainable because and I don't think that the way I was riding was sustainable, but you can't argue the fact that if I do continue to take risks, that the chances of another accident are going to happen because it's just they will. Like there is a higher risk.
That's the way that math works.
If I take more risks, then that's
Yeah.
there is that possibility. And I guess I just got to be smarter about it. Not that I wasn't smart this time around, but it's a heightened awareness of mortality and just how easily this can be snatched away from me, and I don't want to lose all of it. I'm happy to give up a portion of it if I can keep the bulk of it.
And that's kind of what I was talking about earlier, where I was like, that's my thought process now. And it's like, you're looking at whatever feature, and in my head, I'm like, is this worth maybe never riding bikes again? Or is this even worth like sitting on the couch for 6 months because you fucked up? Like
risk reward.
Yeah. And honestly, like when I was younger, that was never even a conversation. Like those choices weren't like in A, B, or C, you know?
Nope.
So it was like, do it now, do it faster than now, or no, just do it.
Yeah. And it's usually easier if you just go now. If you sit there and wait, that's a problem. So just go now. And that's
but let's be real, man. I mean, like you get into your 40s and you're definitely not healing like you were in your 20s.
God, not even close. Oh,
it's weird because like I remember, being in my 20s and listening to guys even in their 30s and being like, dude, shit changes. And like, whatever, dude, you kind of fell off. You're not taking care of yourself or whatever it is. And then you get there and you're like, oh my God, I've had this scratch on my shin for like 3 weeks. Why is it still not healed? It's like, it's just the strangest thing of like how your body just slows down on the way that it rejuvenates.
Yeah. And I've come to terms also with the fact that I'm just not like mentally, I'm not good at aging.
Yeah.
Like I think physically I'm okay. Like for my age, I think I'm okay. Like I'm healthy enough, I guess.
Yeah.
But mentally, I am not aging gracefully by any means because I can't come to terms with some of these situations. And this is a good example of why I have to really start to approach things differently in a smarter way.
Because I am like definitely a person that like I don't really give a shit about getting wrinkles. I don't really give a shit about my hair changing colors. I don't really give a shit about losing my hair. Like none of those things are like, none of it means anything to me. It's the part where I'm like, why can't I put my body through the bullshit that I put my body through 10 years ago?
Exactly.
And that's that part is where I 100% agree with you because I'm like, let's just say, I've been riding too much lately, for example, and I've been having some issue with my elbows because it's just all of this like constant, like,
yeah, of course. Yep.
Like back and forth from the suspension and hitting rocks and whatever. And it's like, dude, this is bullshit, man. I'm not.
Yeah.
Like it's not like I'm freaking riding Rampage. Like why the hell is this a problem? And that part I so can like relate with you. Like I do not like getting older in that aspect. All the rest of it, I don't give a shit. It's like, it hurts to get out of bed or whatever. Like I'm fine with that. But what do you mean I can't like do that over and over again?
How why? That makes no sense. Like, you're telling me I can't ride without my elbow hurting? That's impossible. Watch this.
Oh, wait a minute. So I have to get insoles that support my arches so that my feet don't hurt so bad I can't walk. What are you talking about?
I that's a problem. That's a me problem. That is definitely a me problem.
Hopefully it's a us problem, man.
Maybe it's an us problem. Yeah.
I would imagine there's probably a lot of people listening that can relate, but
I think so.
Those of you guys that are young, enjoy it, and no matter what, you will get here. So
God willing, you'll make it. Yep.
yeah,
You'll
yeah,
make
yeah.
it.
You'll be like, son of a bitch if those guys weren't right.
So, a question for you:
Yeah.
Would I really went around and around and around about making this video at all, my crash video.
Mhm.
Would you have put that out?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Okay.
I think the reason I would have is it would give me a chance to kind of like dig into it mentally and kind of work through it, because I'm like doing the edit and watching it, and I know it would be hard, but it would help me like normalize it as well.
True.
You know what I mean? And then the other end of it is, I think exactly like what you did, or like one of the things that you said is like, if this helps somebody else, like, why not make this a positive of some sort
somehow,
instead of like burying it away? It's just because, like, not to say that we're, you know, some amazing influencers, but I think that there's more opportunity to share like your experience, and I think that has value. And you know, maybe it helps somebody else. You know, maybe it helps somebody listening to this podcast, for example, that they're like, forgot their helmet a couple weeks from now, and they're like, you know what?
Nope. I'm not gonna
do it. You know. And
I hope so. I hope that's the case.
I just was thinking like the POV portion of that video, really, like, as usual, it's like, it really doesn't look like anything. Like, you don't get any kind of like Hollywood shot of you like flying straight for this tree and like exactly what happened. But that your buddy that was following you, dude, that was harder to watch. That was like way harder to watch.
I agree. And it even looks small, like the actual like just the crash portion. When you see it on his video, it's like you want to laugh. Like, what was that? Like, it's like, what's he doing? What is he even doing up there? Like, it just looks like I just ditched the bike for some random reason. Like, it looks like absolutely nothing. And then and even when you watch his, it's actually surprising to me how he reacted to that. Like, as if I would have seen someone do that, I probably would have like chuckled a little bit, like, oh, what's he doing screwing around up there and falling off the trail like a weirdo? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I would not knowing the severity of it, obviously, but it looked like nothing. Yeah. But when he sees it, he's like, oh shit. And that was like, so maybe it looked worse from his perspective than it did on video, because on video it looks silly. Like, it looks like I'm just goofing
that's
around.
Also the thing with video too. It's like, dude, I've ridden some shit that most people won't ride, and you look at the video and it looks like you're like, it's flat as hell, and like, so I mean, it's definitely. I'm not saying I'm some freaking, you know, awesome rider, but the videos definitely never do anything justice.
Never. No.
You know, when I was watching your accident, the only thing that I could think of, like when I watched it, was it looked like your suspension was compressed in a spot where it didn't need to be. Where it was rebounding in a spot where it didn't need to be, because it looked like you were riding fine, and then all of a sudden it was like you were just pushed over. You know,
like it pogoed me right off.
Yeah.
And that's exactly how it felt, and exactly what I have come to realize is what happened, is that it was basically out of sync. You know, had I just rolled that roller correctly and kept my tires on the ground and just rolled up that lip, no problem.
Yeah.
And even in Evan's video, they go ride that trail at like a decent speed, and you can watch them go through it, and they did exactly what I should have done, and it's fine. Like, there's nothing to it. They just bloop, 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 just right through it.
Yeah.
No issue.
Yeah, that's interesting. I still feel like the builder should change something. Like,
I think so too. Yeah. There certainly should be a change to that section if it's a known issue, and it to the locals, allegedly it's, like I said, a known issue. So that
like, hook up before you get there, because otherwise the thing's gonna fuck you a little.
Yeah, exactly.
And to me, like, whenever, like, in the trails that I've built, like, that's the indicator that I need to change something. Whenever I come through something, I'm like, oh, that's always janky. It's like, is that janky that I want janky, or is that janky like Like
Yeah.
that's really
Yeah.
janky,
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
something like that, it'd be like, okay, well, this tells me that I need to do something either to slow people down on purpose, like before
Yep.
that, like throw some
Yeah. A
tech
little
in there or
turn.
something,
Yep. Yes.
or do I need to like make the hill a little bit bigger, or like
Mm-hmm.
cut that
Mm-hmm.
part out on the other side so it's a better transition into the next
Yep.
roller? Or there's something that could definitely be had there. So.
Yeah. Even that little lip, like even that lip, could you just take that lip off and you just end up rolling it? That's
Yeah.
be fine, I think. Because I
Yeah.
think that lip adds that extra bit of G out there, and then your suspension can't settle, so it just comes out.
Yeah, and maybe cut that tree out. Maybe
Or cut the tree out.
yeah.
But I do want to say again too, those guys were great. Like that. That's another part I keep thinking about is like, imagine if that happened while I was by myself. How different that would have been if that situation happens and I'm all by myself riding, which, I ride by myself a lot. So that's a whole nother way to look at it, and a terrifying way to look at it, actually. Like, if I wake up in the woods by myself in that same scenario, that's scary. Cause I had a great, I had a great crew around me. The first bike and the last bike both had, radios, so they both called immediately.
Mhm.
And so the UTV showed up, and the guys, they like tied up my arm, like this. They tied it up quick, got me in the UTV, took me down the mountain, and I was in a truck and on my way to the ER like fast.
Yeah.
And of course, when I did come back, it was nice to have my friends there. And
Yeah.
having, and I feel so terrible about, what Evan had to go through, like with me, where he's trying to like stop me from moving around, where he's like, just, stay still. And I'm just flailing about like a weirdo. Like
Mhm.
I hate that happened to him, but I'm so thankful that those guys were there. Like,
Yeah.
again, like I
I'm
had such an
sure you're
awesome,
probably beating yourself up more than he feels bad about it, dude.
probably true. And I've talked to him, I've called him about it, and he's like, and he's honest. He's like, yeah, it kind of fucked me up a little bit. Like
Yeah.
and I'm glad that he's honest about it. But he's like you said, he's happy to have been there, and
Yeah.
they, when friends get to be friends, I think it's a good feeling, right? When you get to be there for somebody.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's
You get,
definitely a thing.
yeah, and you get to help somebody. That's it feels good, and it
For sure.
felt great that they were there. But like that ski patrol, like those guys were so in control. Like, I've been
Yeah.
around ski patrol where they aren't exactly sure what to do, and they're kind of, they're questioning things, and they're calling everybody, asking what to do. And these guys were like, they rolled up, they're like, boom, yep, fix them up, okay, yep, in the thing, good, let's go, done. And it was like,
Yeah.
I felt so safe because of them. I was like, these guys got it. Like, you could just tell.
So you asked me about if I would release that video.
Yeah.
Do you feel like it helped you, or do you feel like you're not sure
Yeah,
yet?
it did. I mean, it was like, that's the most, I can't imagine a scenario where I would be put a more like private moment out there. You know what I mean? Like, what a personal, super, super personal moment of mine that's now on the internet for the world to see. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't care per se about what people's perception could be of me, or saying the wrong
Yeah.
thing, or like, I'm gonna do what I can for people to understand who I am, who I really am. But I'm not ultra like fixated on what people think about me, right? And I want to be open. I love an opportunity to be real.
Mm-hmm.
So that felt good to me. But I couldn't think, like, as I'm like editing it, and I'm semi unconscious, and like just clinging to people and life, and trying to like, get my mind back together. Like that couldn't be a more personal like situation for me, and it felt super vulnerable, and a little embarrassing, honestly. But
Yeah. Yeah, I would imagine totally embarrassing.
I just, I'm like, man, sometimes I wonder why I learned how to do some of the things I do, like editing, for example, making videos.
Mhm.
And I couldn't help but wonder if this is one of those reasons, like
Yeah.
sometimes you just have to do something. And I felt like, even though it was hard and I didn't really want to press upload, it was like, I just had to. Like, it was so well documented. And that's why I said that right away. It's like, it's such a weird situation that could happen to anybody. And it's so well documented. How could I not share it?
Mhm.
Even if it makes me feel uncomfortable, even if someone goes and makes like a meme about me,
Yeah.
takes my soundbite and makes like a meme about me, like, even if the worst case scenario happens, still, I feel like it had to be done. It just had to.
Yeah.
So I did it.
Do you tell your wife exactly what trails you're riding on whenever you go out normally? Or are you like, hey, I'm going riding, see ya?
No, she knows where I'll be. Yeah.
Yeah.
She pretty much always knows where I'll be.
I feel like it's a good opportunity to tell people, like, because this could totally happen on your own. You know what I mean? And it could totally happen on a trail that you've ridden a million times as well. I always try to like let my wife know exactly what trails I'm going. And if I deviate, like, I'm gonna send her a text. And if I want to deviate but I have no signal, then I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
You know, because it's
No,
I don't want to spend the night like laying in the woods by myself.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah.
So nor do I really want to put her through that, or anyone else that knows me for that matter, So
yeah, I've changed the way, especially over the last couple of years, I've changed the way that I ride a lot. And especially since I crashed on the road 2 years ago and broke my collarbone. Riding the road is terrifying. Like, that's the sketchiest way you can ride, in my opinion. Like, I have a gravel bike and I try to ride it on paths as much as possible. And I try to stay off of the road, but to get to the paths, I have to take the road, sections of road, to get to, the paths and the gravel roads and the stuff that I want to ride. And, I've been doing less and less and less of that. And I do more mountain biking and more Zwift, because a lot of times, like, I don't have the heart, because it's the reason that I would ride the road is time. Like, if I only have 90 minutes, for example, I know I can jump on my bike, hit the road, and I can get 20 miles in and come back. I don't have to load up the truck. I don't have to load a vehicle. I just put my gear on, grab my bike, I'm out. So if I have a short period of time, that's why I put so many miles on the road, is just because time. Like,
I do the exact same thing.
I need 2 hours minimum to go mountain biking.
Yeah.
So if I only got an hour to 90 minutes, I'm on the road. But now,
I do the same thing. I have like it's probably like 3 to 4 miles to get to like a paved trail that we have in Sacramento.
Yeah.
But it's 3 or 4 miles of regular road. Not like you said, it's freaking terrifying. Like, even down to like passing parked cars. Like, is there somebody in that one? Are they going to open their door today?
Every time I ride out, on the road, or, on the way to a gravel road or whatever, it's like, there's always a close call. There's always someone who didn't see me. There's always a close call. And it's like, this shit is sketchy. And so because of that, and like, Sarah knows that, because she and I, there's a lot of road riding that we do together. So she understands some of the sketchiness of the road. And so she, in getting back to like telling, your spouse where you're going and what you're riding, like, I can't not tell her where I'm going. So I've resorted so many times now to riding Zwift instead of riding the road, because I don't have the heart to be like, I'm going to ride the road. And she'll be like, really? Do you really have to go ride the road? Can't you ride in the basement? And I'm like, you know what? I will ride in the basement. So I've been riding a lot of Zwift.
Man, I have a hard time with Zwift, dude. I really do. If I am really good at Zwift when it's raining and cold.
Yep.
But if it's not either one of those, I'm like, man, I would rather be outside. Even if I know this Zwift ride is going to be more productive as far as like building fitness or whatever. I'm like, I just need to go out. I'd rather go outside.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I mean, and I would too. It's just a choice, a choice that I've been making a lot more lately. just to be easier on my wife's mental health and like my own personal safety. And it's like I don't know, it's something that kind of I've been thinking about more in terms of like making safe choices, which is something that I've been thinking about a lot for the last couple of weeks.
Yeah. So what's the prognosis at this point? That they told you because of your head injury that you should like shy away from bikes for a while, or?
Basically it's 6 weeks. It's supposed to take 6 weeks for this collarbone to heal. They kind of said the same with the vertebrae, but since there's no surgery needed, it's kind of just I'm just supposed to relax for 6 weeks. And that's it. And you know, I should probably go get a follow-up and all that. I don't know that I will, but I'll probably just take the next, it's already been 2 weeks. I'll probably take another 3 weeks and then assess at that point. And if I do get out, it'll be some very relaxing, chill miles to kind of get my wheels back under me. And mountain biking, I probably won't like mountain bike for 6 weeks. I'm probably off of the mountain bike for another month, but I can probably see myself going to ride the bike path again, probably in 3 weeks, if I had to guess.
Yeah. Do you think you'd get on Zwift before then?
Oh, I've been on it plenty of times already.
So you're just so you're definitely like keeping the fitness that way then.
Trying
to like not like put any weight on your handlebars, or just trying to like
I just sit up. I'll just sit up the whole time. Yep. So I'll find the flattest course there is, and I'll just sit up and ride. Like I rode today. I still try to ride 4 times a week at least. Just to spin.
I feel like if you're riding like that, you should go to Walmart and get one of those big like fat saddles that it gets whenever they first start.
Yeah, or like one of the Schwinn Aerodynes. Do one of those. Yeah, it's not the most comfortable thing, but the best thing I do for Zwift is I'll save all the YouTube that I want to watch for that like hour. So I'll like batch my YouTube videos. So like if I all the people that I watch on YouTube, I'll wait till they all have a good video and I'll save it for whenever I get on Zwift. So that, to me, that it's so much of a better way to watch YouTube for me because I'm not just sitting there. So I can consume my YouTube and exercise at the same time.
Yeah, the only time I ride Zwift is like one of their training plans, and they have a level of intensity that goes from like, oh, this is cool, I can listen to a podcast, to like, I don't hear anything. So,
yeah. I don't Zwift hard. I'll say that. Yeah. It's more of it's just a spin. It's like I'll work up a decent sweat, and it's better than just sitting there. For me, it's just better than sitting there and watching an hour of YouTube. And
that totally makes sense. That's a great idea.
But I'm not doing any I'm not doing any special training plans. I'm literally just spinning. That's it.
Yeah. I always cancel my plan in the summertime, and then I'll usually restart it like November or something like that. How much I use it really is dependent on like how crappy our winter is. So,
and
more often than not, it seems like the weather out here is usually not too bad, where it's like, oh, it rained today, I can't really ride, but I sort of need a rest day anyway. So
it's great. Like recovery days, it's great to just spin on the trainer.
Yeah. It's definitely like I had a whole different perspective of Zwift before I started using it, at least for training. And I definitely like I would argue with old me now. Like old me would be like, shut up, go outside. You know, and now I'm like kind of the same reasons that you're saying, like, dude, time-wise, it's like it's even less time than going on a road ride. It's
it's fast.
A water bottle. I already have my cup of water that's in the house anyway. It's like, you know, all I got to do is put on my shoes and that's it. You know, it's like,
I can be riding in 5 minutes. Like,
exactly.
Yeah.
So it's definitely handy. Have you tried Ruby? I've been curious about that one. So it's sort of like Zwift, except for they have like actual video of
Yes,
the
I've seen
places
that.
that you're riding at.
Yes. Yep. I have seen
So it's
that.
like, oh, I could go ride in France, and like it's
Yep.
actual video of the
That's
road that you're
cool.
going down.
Yep. Our treadmill has that. Our Nordic Track treadmill has where you can go run all over the world. It's pretty rad. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. And like the treadmill will go up and down with the terrain, and it's cool. Yeah. I did that over the winter quite a bit actually. That was kind of fun. That was a new thing for me.
Yeah, I've been considering trying that one just to see how it is compared to Swift. And I like Swift though, even though it's all cartoony. Yep. It's kind of like the difference between like Nintendo and PlayStation, you know, where it's like, Nintendo is kind of cartoony and PlayStation is a little more real, you know, and so, or Xbox, I guess you could say. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's just, it gives you the right amount of stimulus to like break up the monotony.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Like there's little groups of people, and I'll like key in on some person. I'll be like, "Where's that guy in the purple shirt again?"
Yeah.
You know, you gotta see him before you. Oh, there he is. Yep. You know, and it's like
when people start wheel sucking.
Yeah.
Like get off me, man. Get off me. Now I got that. Now I can steer, so I can get away from people and stuff like that. That's kind of fun.
So do you have the whole like the Zwift bike, or do you have like your own bike on a trainer?
I had my bike on a trainer for a long time, for years, and then I just this year got the Zwift ride when it was on sale.
What did it get you for? How much was it?
1,200, maybe 1,100.
So you got it with the trainer on it.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Solid.
They're selling it now with just the frame. So like if you already have a trainer, you can buy that. I don't think they were doing that initially, but
no, you couldn't get just a frame. But I needed a
like $800 for the frame. And I'll tell you, I've been really contemplating spending that money because one of the things that stops me from using my trainer is the time of year whenever I have to put it back on or take it off. You know what I mean? And in the past, I've considered just buying I almost bought like a cheap Chinese frame, just so I could build it out for Zwift itself. Mm-hmm. And I never pulled the trigger on it. And now that they have that, it's like $800. I'm like, you know what? That would just take away my one excuse. And typically that's I need to like remove as many barriers from my life to keep me from doing things.
Yep, same. Oh, now we lost your video.
Oh, right.
Struggles. Now you're just a circle. Take this moment to have a this is from out by you guys too, by the way. These Tiffs. You ever had one of these? These are delicious. Which also, ooh, Cam 2.
Oh, look at that! I think
that's cool.
I'm wondering if my can you hear me?
Yep, I gotcha.
I'm wondering if my Sony just overheated. It's pretty hot here today.
Some of those Sonys be doing that.
Yeah, Sony's be doing that. What? Make sure I got everything all set right. This is all good.
Yeah, your mic changed at some point. I don't think you're on your good mic right now.
Really?
No, your mic changed back when you had when you jumped off for a little bit.
That would have been great if you would have told me that.
Oh, I thought you knew.
You can't help me produce my podcast. Come on, dude.
I thought you knew. This is your thing, man. You're the pro here. I'm the guest.
Everything is fucking wrong today. Hang on, let me move that camera so it actually.
It's just me, right? It's just me and my. This is my luck. This year, 2025 is just. She's just rough, man. She's rough. There you go. Look at this. Now we got a nice wide angle. What?
It's definitely off. Oh God, I don't want to listen to this episode at all. Those of you guys have listened to this episode on your commute or your bike ride or your whatever you're doing. I'm sorry that the audio was all fucked up, and
it was only bad for like a half hour.
Yeah, that's great.
Big deal.
This is what I was telling you earlier. I have 2 Rode mics, so one's at like my workstation, and then the other one's over here. Okay. So,
you picked the wrong one.
Yeah, I was on 2 instead of 3, or I don't know.
I mean, I probably should have said something. I felt like,
you're like, he definitely knows.
I don't want to tell the guy in his own thing, like, look, man.
Yeah. Well,
Your
the
mic.
camera definitely overheated. So that's a thing today. So there
Yeah.
we go.
What camera?
That is the A6700, the
Okay.
Sony A6700. What do
I
you
had one of
use?
those. Yeah. I have my this camera is my ZVE10,
Oh, okay.
and then I
That's
have
Nikon?
no. That's the Sony APS-C,
Sony.
just like what
The
you got.
ZV. That's what you
Yeah, yeah,
said.
yeah.
How do you like that's the one that's like better for video
Uh-huh.
than
Yep. That's if I'm gonna take a camera on the trail, that's the one.
hmm Really?
Because my it's small and I have a decent amount of APS-C lenses, but then and it's super light. It's great for travel. It's great for like if you got to pack it away. Like I can put it in my fanny pack and go ride mountain bikes with it.
Uh-huh.
And then for photography, I have an A7C, and then for my cinema camera is the whole cinema rig, which I think you've seen before. Is a ZVE1 that's all built out with a bunch of stuff on it. So, and that's my
God.
cinema rig.
So what's the one you said is your light one? The Sony what?
ZVE10. So the
ZV.
ZVE10 is your APS-C camera, and then my other two are full frames. So the A7C is a full frame, higher megapixel for pictures. So that's my picture camera, and then the ZVE1 is the full frame version of the ZVE10, and that's got like it's basically like a poor man's FX3. So it's got the processor and sensor of an FX3 with a like cheaper body.
Got it. So the 10 is still a APS-C.
Yep. Yeah, it's like a $500 camera, but it's like the body I think you can get for like $500 right now. And it's a badass little camera. Like it's one of those cameras I'll never sell because when you want something small and portable and like just a nice little ripper, that thing's pretty good. Takes great video too.
Yeah, they got the body for $650. So it doesn't
There you go.
overheat on you though. Like
No,
ever.
that one doesn't. And the reason it doesn't is because it won't do 4K 120. Whereas like it'll do 4K 60, but 4K 120 on these Sony cameras, unless it's like an FX3, destroys them. Like they can't take it. They overheat.
Yeah.
So like my ZVE1, I have a cooler on it. So when I'm
Uh-huh.
running slow-mo for more than a few minutes, the cooler kicks on and then I can run it continuously because it just produces a ton of heat at 120. But that's the only camera I have that
just sits on the back, like where the
Yep, where the viewfinder opens up. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, you open up the monitor and then it clips right in there. There's like different bodies for the cooler for different bodies. It's got like different adapters.
Yeah.
And then you can
that
set
works
it up
pretty well though.
It completely eliminates the issue. So
Interesting.
and when
I'm
you're
gonna buy one.
Yeah, I got the small rig one, and you can set it up like I put it on auto, so it'll automatically sense if it gets too hot and then turn it on for as long as it needs to.
It feels like on the podcast, like like these things, they just overheat. I've tried like different settings. Like some guys are like, "Oh no, I stream all the time with this," and I'm like, "I don't know, what your house must be like 60 degrees or something."
Yeah,
Like,
because are you 4K streaming?
No, it's probably set to 1080 or something like that. But it's like it's just the time is what it is.
Yeah.
It's like so long, and
Oh
I actually don't normally have a problem with it. But it is like over 100 degrees in Sacramento today, so this room is probably warmer than it would normally be. So
speaking of California, I will be in Lake Tahoe in August, probably I think late August.
What do you
so
doing?
if there's any opportunity where we could go for a ride, that would be awesome.
There's 100% opportunity as long as I'm like, I keep trying to plan this trip to Canada.
Okay.
And if I talk somebody into it, that just so happens to be the same time that you're coming out. Sorry, dude, I'm going Canada.
Yeah, no worries. I'll be in Tahoe from the 20th to the 24th of August. But
what are you coming out for?
Just to hang out, we'll do some wake surfing in Lake Tahoe. Do some hiking, do some biking, do some wake surfing.
Your wife coming too?
Yep. Yeah, there'll be 4 of us going, and so it'll be my buddy and I. We're gonna want to ride, so I'd love to look to you for some places to go. Maybe rent e-bikes and go for like a couple hour ride if you're down.
Yeah, 100%, dude. I could definitely show you some like the best that
That would be great.
I can put together a good day for you. Put it that way. So
Yeah,
you can tell me exactly what you're looking for, and I can be like,
yep.
yeah, these are the trails that we need to do.
Sweet.
Then.
That's exactly what I'm looking for. Because we'll probably have. I mean, I bet we'll have maybe 3 hours, maybe 4 hours that we could get away from our wives and go ride. And yeah, I would
You don't
love
think
to
your
rent.
wife would want to ride? She wouldn't want to go like experience
No,
that.
they'll go shop or something. I'm guessing, or they'll go because we'll probably do the Truckee River one day. We'll go out on Tahoe one day, and then I want to do some riding and some hiking one day. So yeah, I'll send you the details because that would be awesome if we could ride. We did Donkey Town 2 years ago. We did Donkey Town, which was super fun.
So you were in Truckee. So you're going up to the North Lake then?
Yeah,
like
we stay in area? West. We stay in on the West Shore, almost always. So we'll be on the West Shore, but we can drive a little bit. That's no problem. We love Truckee. Like Truckee's, like our wives love Truckee. So if we could ride around there again, that would be cool. But we're open to suggestions.
Yeah, no, there's definitely some cool shit over there too. There's like, I mean, it's Tahoe, dude. You're in the mountains, like
yeah. So
cool.
there's
definitely plenty of rad stuff. And I mean, from where you're coming from too, it's like, wow, this is a lot of elevation.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Yeah. Yeah. It's that's where Sarah and I got engaged, Mount Talac 5 years ago on Mount Talac. Because we went out there. I think I've been out to Tahoe maybe 5 times, just because we keep going back because we just love it so much. I absolutely love Lake Tahoe.
Yeah. No, there's definitely it's very pretty. It's very pretty, and the weather's usually pretty good. So
the water is just incredible.
Yeah, I think it's like underrated for some reason.
It's just it's like cleansing and like rejuvenating and just like, I don't know, like, the Great Lakes are nice. Like Lake Michigan is like, the way that you feel when you get out of Lake Michigan is similar. Tahoe's cleaner and but like some of the Great Lakes have that same like visibility, not quite as good as Tahoe. Tahoe, you can see down to the bottom. You can see 40 feet down sometimes. It can be that way. It's just crystal clear, and the Great Lakes are that way sometimes. But you don't have the mountains. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not the same. And like the coastline's just gorgeous, and we love, like, we go to Secret Cove and get naked and all that whole thing.
Yeah, you gotta do that, right?
That's so fun. I love it. Yeah,
right.
I love that.
And that's exciting. Yeah, dude. That's it'll definitely be warm that time of year, but I mean, who knows? So, but yeah, we could definitely make something work for sure, man.
Yeah, I would love to get a ride in with you. Like I said, we can rent e-bikes like in Truckee or something, and then meet up with you somewhere and go for a ride.
Yeah. There's tons of places to go. So I'm over here trying to like already plan it out. And what do you think, Rob? Finish this podcast, dude.
Yeah,
your shit's already all broken down. Yeah. Like you're on the wrong mic.
you got half a studio working over there.
I know, it's just ridiculous.
One broken camera, all kinds of audio issues.
Yeah, apparently like I need to like reevaluate my whole life here. This is probably why I haven't been podcasting.
That's what I was gonna say. So you're out of practice. You're off for 2 weeks, and this is what happens.
It's crazy because like we were talking about this beforehand, and like YouTube, you kind of go up and down on things, and one of the reasons that I've always liked the podcast is because it's super easy to do, and at least for the most part. But here and there, it definitely becomes a grind to like get people on the calendar all the time.
I bet.
And sometimes you're just like, dude, I don't want to do that right now.
I could see that.
That's where I've been. Like, I really enjoy talking to people every time I'm doing a podcast, but it's the grind of like finding somebody else, and then and just kind of getting all that set up and whatnot. But I feel like I might need to take a break from the podcast for for a couple months or something like that, and
You've been doing it a
that'll
long time.
usually fire me back up. Because what happens is then I start looking for a mountain bike podcast that has the type of conversations that I want to hear, and there's not one. And then I get irritated, and then I go back to making my own.
Yeah, of course. So this is, what is this, 218 or something? What was this episode? That's crazy. So is there like a so that's how many years? How many years did you say you've been doing this?
I don't know, honestly. I don't remember when I actually started the podcast, because there was a break. Well, first of all, I started it originally like on my other channel.
Okay.
And then I did that for a while. There was a break where I did exactly what I said. And then I started again. And then I was like, oh, I need to make its own channel. And so I don't know. We'll call it a couple of years. So,
Do you have, is there like a pinnacle moment for you? Like, is there a when you look back at like your podcasting career, is there like one moment you were like, that was why I did this? That was my favorite moment podcasting. Do you have one of those?
I would say the first one that came to my mind as soon as you said that is when I talked to Charlie Kelly. So he's like the guy that basically started downhill mountain bike racing with all the clunkers in Marin County, like back in the 70s.
Yeah.
And it was just like, I'm a sucker for history. Like History Channel is like the first one I look for on the TV whenever I'm like trying to find something to watch. So that, and the fact that I love mountain biking, it was just like, it was like talking to the guy that like invented the wheel, you know. This is so cool.
That is pretty cool. Like talking to Carroll Shelby if you're a car guy or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I thought it was super rad. Other than that, honestly, like I would say almost every other episode is like a second for me, because they all are they're all super fun. I think that's the reason that I enjoy the podcast. And allegedly from a bunch of people's comments, I'm good at it, but it's like I'm just like genuinely like interested in people and like having and just talking. So it's they're all fun in their certain ways. And sometimes like I don't even talk to the person at all before like we've met on here, you know, like it's like a cold email to, let's just say it's, you know, XYZ bikes, and they're like, yeah, let's talk. And I'm like, sweet. And literally the 3 minutes that we're on before we hit live is like the first time I've ever conversated with some people. So sometimes you're like thinking that like this, I don't know where this conversation is going to go. Like, am I really going to be able to talk to this dude for 2 hours? Like,
and that's part of the fun, right?
Yeah. And then it's like you get done and you're like, holy shit, that was like really fun conversation. And it's like, not even in my mind, I was like, man, if I can make it to 45 minutes, it's going to be good. You know, like,
well, it comes natural to you. Like you can tell, like it's definitely, you know, there's times in where you can just tell where it's labored, you know, like in other, not here, but in other podcasts that I've seen, or just even like live streams that I've seen, like where it's just, it's almost painful to watch, because there's just like, it's like, you know, it's like chugging along. Come on, like, can we get somewhere? Like it's, but it's very effortless for you. It doesn't seem like you don't have to try. It's just very natural, which I think is what helps it be easy to listen to, easy to be on, easy to, you definitely have that. So it's good that you're using that.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that, man. That's awesome. You know, it's I feel like sometimes a lot of these guys that I get on, this is like the first podcast that they're ever on. And I'm always in the back of my head, I'm like, am I setting these dudes up for failure?
Yeah.
They're like, no, dude, I did a podcast super easy.
Yeah, exactly. Although I feel like you could pull just about anybody through, like you said, like 45 minutes, an hour and a half. I feel like you could pull someone across the finish line if you really had to. You could make it work.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm not going to say I haven't had a few of those episodes over the last 218. So it does happen from time to time. But yeah, no, it's been a super fun ride, man. Honestly, it's like it hasn't maybe got as much legs as I thought it would have, but that could also be me as well, because I am not I'm not doing all the things that make like algorithms happy. So like I could definitely be like making clips of every show, and at this point doing some short form content of it and pulling people in that way. And but I don't know, like I don't know how much of this I want to be a job and how much of this I want to be fun.
That's
You
kind of
know?
where I'm at. Yep. Same. There was a period of time where I was really just into the inner workings of YouTube, and but that was like really early on shorts, and I did all the research and figured out what shorts to make, how to make them, like what was the way to do it, and I did it, and it, like I gained like 10,000 subscribers in like a year, and then it was like it got weird. I don't know. It's like it changed, and it was almost like I had two audiences. I had like an audience for long form and an audience for short form, and I do truly love to make short form. Like I like the box. I like being put in that small box. Like it's just kind of helps me be more creative sometimes. I actually do love both long form and short form. But it's just like every time like a short would do well, it was just shit comments, and it was like this is kind of lame. Like, why do I do this? Like, why try to make a video that does well if it's just getting a bunch of jerks to come talk shit? And it's like I could go get people to talk shit to me anywhere. I don't need to do it online. I don't need to do it on short form content. So it's such a mind fuck of a journey, like YouTube. And it really makes you, like, if you really want to do it for a while and you don't get those legs that you think you're going to get, like you said, it takes a lot of thought of like, what are you really doing this for? Why are you doing it? Who's it for? Like it really, the amount of time and effort and money it takes to make the content. And then, like you said, when the legs aren't there and maybe you get some shitty comments from time to time, like it really makes you think about what's your motivation, what are you doing it for, what do you care about. And I as much as I hate that, I like it. I also like it because it really makes you look at yourself, look at how you're spending your time. And that's where like I get guilt about, I personally like apply guilt to myself about how I spend my time, because I just I want to make sure that I'm using my time in the most efficient way possible, like between hanging out with my wife and doing yard work or working on the house or making videos or being a better employee at my day job. Like I want to make sure I'm splitting my time correctly, and like YouTube is a big time suck, and it really, you got to think about what's it for. And there was a long period of time where I wasn't sure if because like you have delusions of grandeur, I'm going to be a full-time YouTuber,
I think that everybody has that at some point. And I think that like I think for me, for the majority of the time that I've been doing YouTube, I had no idea what I'm doing it for.
Yeah, same.
Like I just know that there's like this reason that I like it, and I still like am not 100% sure why I'm doing it. But it could be like
dynamic.
Like for me, I think it's different all the time. Like sometimes it's I want to be a full-time YouTuber, and sometimes it's like I just want to be creative, and sometimes like it's like I enjoy the community or the like the attaboys that you get, and never is it really one of those things long enough for me to say like that's the real reason why I do it. I think at this point though, I've definitely figured out I'm not doing it for money.
No, that was an easy one. You can check that one off real quickly for me too.
I was like, oh wow. Like every time I do my taxes, because I'm still writing this shit off, and I'm like, wow, how long can I get away with the loss?
Shit, I spent how much this year?
I don't know. I really felt like I made a lot this year, but I apparently didn't.
Yeah, in a way, it's a lot like mountain biking and just riding bicycles. You know what I mean? It's like you have to go on the ride to have those like pinnacle moments. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
if you don't go out and ride your bike, you're not going to have those times where you're like, that was an awesome ride, or those
Yeah.
moments that you never forget, the sunset rides, or you're just in the moment with your friends. You're feeling the flow. Your mind is turned off. You're just totally in it, and everything else is gone except for that ride. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And like,
Yeah.
it's like if you're not riding all the time or as much as you can, whatever that may be, if you're not putting in that effort, you don't ever get those moments. And it's like in YouTube, it's the same thing. Like if you're not in a bit of a grind, if you're not putting in the time, making those videos, whether it's short form, long form, live streams, podcasts, whatever, you will never see those moments. And like tonight is one of them, like you and I just kind of reconnecting, hanging out, working through these shitty technical problems, but having a
Yeah.
great conversation. Or like me being able to put out the video about this crash and kind of bring to light some of these issues that we don't talk about all the time. Like if you're not there for the entire grind, you don't get those peaks. You know what I mean? And it's the same with riding.
Yeah.
If you're not out there riding, not every ride is a memorable ride. That's just the reality. But you're there for those that are, and those are the ones that make you go back.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I'm at with YouTube, where it's like not every video is a banger, not every video is going to be your best. But when those times come where they do well, or people react well to it, or it helps somebody, then it's like, oh, okay, well,
Yeah.
this is why I do this.
I'm stoked to be at the spot where I'm at now, where I'm actually making the videos the way that I'm like proud of, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
And of course, like I'm sure a year from now I'll look at anything I made this year and be like, that's crap. But
yeah.
but I definitely feel like what I'm producing is closer to like what my vision is than it was whenever I first started.
Totally.
When I first started, it was definitely like I wanted to be making the kind of videos I'm making today.
Totally.
And I had to put the time in. I had to learn how to edit. I had to learn how to film. There's so much to learn when you start. It's just so like much. Yeah. And I think that's part of the reason that I really enjoyed it, is because at the end of the day, like I just really like learning shit. And
progression feels good, man. Progression always feels good on a bike or with a camera. Feels great.
It doesn't matter what it is. I mean, if I move that camera around, there's like, a 3D printer over here and a next tool laser over here. And it's like, a fucking vinyl cutter over here. And it's all shit for me, like to tinker with, and to like learn something else. And YouTube has man, it's like an infinite amount of learning. I've definitely like feel like with my 3D printer, it's like I can get to a certain point where I'm like, okay, I'm not going to design like a bridge, but I can make most of the things that I want to make in my mind. I'm like, I'd like to make a new cap for my cup here. I can figure that out, but with YouTube, it's definitely like, man, every time I go to edit, I'm looking up something where it's like,
I do too. Oh yeah.
Oh, I've seen this guy do this thing. It's like, how do I,
Every
for
time.
example, on your video, you had you inside of a box that was on the screen.
Yep.
Talking while the rest of the video is playing. And to anybody that's watching, like you just assume that you like click on that and then you click on circle and then it's like, there it is. And because that's the way that anybody else would think, because they're used to using like Instagram or something like that. But realistically, just for you to figure out how to put you in a box like that and get the right shape, you probably spent like 2 hours like watching videos and then trying this and then, oh wait, I need to make it. Well, I want my own shape that I want to use. That
exactly.
Has the right, and then
exactly.
Next thing,
I fucked around with that for hours. 100% did.
Yeah. I had a video not too long ago that I did that on, and it was like, oh well, I could like, oh, you're like masking, so that means I can make any shape that I want. You just like. Then you find yourself like 2 hours later, you're like, why did I spend an hour making an octagon?
Exactly. Yeah, and I was like, I just want it to go from the small guy, and I want it to go full screen, and then I want it to go back small, and then I want it to be full screen. Yeah, how do I
those
do
little transition things like that are like stupid. Like you spend so much time on it, and it's like nobody that watches it, except for other guys that edit, are like impressed.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's
Like I've
cool. Yeah.
noticed this with my wife when we watch movies now. I'll see like some camera transition or something like that and be
Mhm.
like, "Whoa, did you just see that?" And
Oh,
she's like expecting some like plot twist that she
100%. Yeah.
missed, and I'm like,
Yeah.
"No, the way that the
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Oh,
yeah, it's
the
ridiculous.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, the blocking and that tracking shot, and that was a oneer, and like, oh yeah,
Yeah,
that was all
yeah,
one clip. No, no, you don't understand.
yeah,
That was all one clip. How did they do
yeah,
that? Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, that stuff's super fun, man. And I don't know. I guess what I would like to circle back to where I was earlier is like I definitely go through levels of like motivation and not motivation. And
Mhm.
um I think that I've done it enough times now that whenever I'm in the low spot where I know it's like you just need to like give yourself a break or you need to like push through one project and it'll get you back to where you were, and because ultimately like I really love the creative side of it. I think
Yeah.
like I can't say that I would make these videos 100% as much as I do if nobody was watching them, but
Yeah.
man,
Yeah.
I sure do enjoy like the ability to go back to 2017 and watch
That is.
me and some of my buddies like screw around on some trail that I rode.
Yep.
And I feel like there's a really high likelihood of me being like 80 and being super stoked that I can go back and watch those videos.
I agree. Yeah. It's
Uh-huh.
just, yeah. I mean, it's like cataloging your life. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
and it will always be there. Well, hopefully, but I mean, it's like we do that all the time. Like when we'll get some friends together or whatever, like, oh, you remember, like for example, like my Lake Tahoe bachelor party video. Almost every time, like we're together, like put the video on, like,
Yeah.
and it's so great. And you watch it, and you're like, you're back, like you're there, and it's like you're back again, and it's like it's so great that is forever, like just captured in time, and it's just there
Yeah.
whenever you need it.
Yeah. It makes you wonder about how much footage that you didn't use, like how
Tons.
valuable that would be to you if you could actually like recall it all.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not too long ago, I was going through some stuff and I don't know about you, but I use a lot of my older footage in newer videos now
I love that.
because I can like, oh, I have a shot of this
Yep.
back then, and I just need it for like a B-roll or
Yep.
to show some like progression or something like that. And
Hmm.
I found this video of like me and one of my buddies on a trail that is like very, very normal to me now.
Hmm.
And but at the time, it was the first time that we ever rode it, and we're like standing in the middle of it, like
Yeah.
with our bikes down, talking about
Yeah.
what line to go on,
Yeah.
and like it, it was just really entertaining to see my perspective
Hmm.
from that point of view compared to now where I'm like, 20 miles an hour, like
Yeah. You
it's
don't
just
think twice.
flashing,
Yeah.
just hoping that I don't hit the wrong rock today, and
Yeah.
instead of like, dude, how do we do this?
Right.
And
Citing it
and
out. Yeah. Picking your
yeah,
lines and shit. Yeah.
yeah, it was really interesting, and like, yeah, but honestly would have never remembered that that was a video if I didn't accidentally like bump into it.
I always am proud of myself when I can pull out an old video from like an old hard drive and use it in a video, like in a new video.
Yeah,
I'm like, that's one of those things that like gets me fired up is
yeah,
using old footage, because it's like it shows that you've been doing it for a while, and it shows that you know how to manage and catalog your footage, and like, you can it's like a callback. You know what I mean? It's
yeah,
cool. I love that shit.
yeah. I like it too, man. It's definitely super fun. You what camera? What do you use? An action camera?
Yeah. Yep.
What are you using?
I'm on the DJI train now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I still have all my GoPros. Um, I think I still, my latest is a 12, but I ended up getting the Osmo Action 5 Pro.
What made you pull the trigger on that and leave GoPro?
I think ultimately battery life. Like I
Yeah.
finally was just like I had it with the battery life on the it was the battery life, and like my favorite point of view was the boost lens with horizon lock.
hmm
And when on the 12 you could do 4K 60, boost, super boost with horizon lock, and I still to this day think that's my favorite POV. But I could not stop scratching that stupid lens. Even with that rubber cap I would put on there,
Yeah.
I bought 4. I bought 4 of those at $100 a piece, those lenses. And now when I bought the last one, I was like, done, not doing it again. And
Yeah.
I decided to try DJI, and it's I do like the DJI. There's still some things about the GoPro I like better.
Yeah.
The DJI it's not perfect by any means. There's some things that it does really well, like the interface is great. I haven't scratched my new boost lens, whatever they call it, but same lens, they just
Yeah.
call it something else. But I haven't scratched it. But like the stabilization is not as good. I don't think the color is as good.
Yeah.
It's the battery in the DJI is fantastic. The IO is fantastic. And even the audio's probably a little bit better with the wind cancellation all the way up. You can still talk, and it's you don't have to put the wind muffler on it like you do with the GoPro. So that's a benefit as well. But the stabilization is not as good. The horizon lock doesn't work at all. So I can't use it anymore, which I really liked it. I liked when the horizon stayed here and the bike would go up and down the sides. I just thought that was cool. That's just a personal preference, but can't do it on the DJI. I would, depending on what the 14 is, I could be back in GoPro potentially, but
Interesting. I also jumped ship, and
okay.
I was on GoPro from the 2 or the 3 all the way up to when they released the last one. I really wanted them to bring the Hero back, but like the little tiny cube, you know,
Session.
and that was it. The Session.
Yeah,
sorry,
I still got one of those too.
I wanted. It's like, can you just give me exactly like the same stabilization and all this stuff, and just put it in that little tiny little cube, so awesome. I can like put it wherever I want to put it at, and be stoked with it. And this year they brought out the 4K. I think they were calling it the Mini or something like that.
Yep.
And I was like, I usually would only upgrade maybe every like 2 or 3 versions. So I was running an 11. Same. I was fine with it. And the 13 came out, and it was like, okay, between that and this 4K Mini, I think I'm ready to like make the jump to the new one. So I bought them both, and the 4K Mini just like completely disappointed me.
Really?
Like completely disappointed me. And the 13 was like, it was like nominally better than my 11. Sure. So at that point, the Insta360 Ace Pro 2 had just came out.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? I'm not in love with this 13. I definitely don't like the Mini. And I'm within my 30 days. I'm going to return them both. And then I'm going to buy this Insta stuff and see what happens.
Okay.
And I bought the Insta, I think it's called the Go 3S. It looks like a pill. And it's like, tiny little camera, and it's got stabilization. It basically did everything I wanted the 4K Mini to do, but better. And then the Ace Pro 2, I kind of feel the same way as you do about your DJI. Like there's things that I love about it better, like the wind noise and not having to deal with the muffs is like amazing.
Yeah.
And but I'm not sure is the quality exactly the same. And then part of it also is that I was in that GoPro like in their landscape for so long that sometimes I'll turn that thing on and I don't realize I have the wrong setting until I get home. This actually happened to me today. And it's like I recorded us riding in Downeyville over the weekend, and I had it in ultra mode, which I thought was the wide mode. I mean, ultra sounds pretty fucking wide, doesn't it?
It sure does.
Ultra, the next mode is called Mega. I feel like ultra is bigger than Mega. Do you or do you not?
Oof. Ultra should be the best. Ultra should be the widest.
If you have a choice between Action, Mega, and Ultra, which one would you choose?
I mean, Ultra is the Ultra. Right. It's the best.
Ultra is the smallest. The smallest point of view is Ultra.
Okay, yeah, it's like it's.
So I have some really good shots of my Garmin on my headset.
Fantastic, that's great.
Yeah, the point of view not the greatest. So But it's shit like that where it's like I forget that like I know all those modes in GoPro, like
I do
'cause
too.
I
Yep.
grew up with them. You know what
Yep.
I mean?
Yep.
So that's the like one of the things that I don't know, is that like a me problem? Like if I was actually all the time in the right setting, you know,
Yeah.
there's little things that I'll forget, like, oh, if I turn it to 8K, then I can't do HDR anymore or
Right.
something like that, you know?
Yep.
And but overall it feels like the experience is pretty good. I really like that little mini one though a lot. And
I think a lot of people like that thing.
yeah, that little thing is like, because what I wanted is like, you know, back when we had, I don't know if you were doing this stuff when we used to wear gimbals,
Oh yeah.
but it was like, okay, so like when you were wearing the gimbal, it didn't matter where your body was pointed at. It was always like perfectly level,
Yes.
and everything was right.
Yep.
And but it just, you look like a fucking complete moron
Oh
wearing
my
it,
God.
right? Yeah. And
Yeah.
like now it's great that you don't have to wear that, but when you get off your bike, you need to remember, like, I need to change this angle.
Yeah.
Or you're
Oh
standing
yeah.
there kind of like holding your chest to like
Yep.
pointing in the right direction. And what that does for people who don't feel comfortable on cameras is it lets them know that you're filming.
100%.
And
Yep.
the nice thing
Yep.
about like the gimbal before was like it would be on and you could be asking people questions and they would be answering it and they wouldn't be like acting weird.
Yeah. They
And
wouldn't be
so,
focused on the camera. Yep.
right. So like the
Yep.
thing about that little one is like I could put that on my helmet and hit go on it and they won't realize that they're being filmed. And
That
not
is
that I'm
nice.
like
Yep.
trying to like trick somebody being in a video, but you know what I'm
No.
talking about. Like
Oh
some of
yeah.
your
Yep.
good buddies like can like conversate well, but as soon
Yep.
as they know a camera's on, it's like
Yeah.
they change. Like all of a sudden they
Yeah.
can't.
You
They
lose
sound like
everything
you after
candid.
you hit a tree.
Yeah. 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 Which ain't great. It's not great. Yeah. It's not
It's
great.
not great. So
But no.
that's
Yeah.
one of the things I love about that. And I like the idea of how small it is. It makes me think artistically, like, oh, I could put this here. Oh, I could put this
Yeah.
here.
True.
And like it's fun in that aspect.
Yeah, and that's where I've seen it a lot. Is like people doing some cool, like getting some really interesting, cool shots with that thing because it's so small.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I want to say like Casey Neistat did this shot where he was
Yeah.
drinking coffee and he like had it in his mouth or something
Yep.
like that. It was like,
There's a bunch
what?
of them. Yeah. There's a
It's
bunch.
like, this is crazy.
And it's, yeah, I feel like it pops up on a lot of the like filmmakers that I follow on YouTube where they're like, oh, well, you know, to get this shot, you should always have something like this. And it's like,
Yeah.
without this, you don't get this shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, it's
But I know,
definitely fun in that aspect. But
it's funny though, like what you were saying, when people, when the camera, like when they know the camera's on, it's like you lose all of that naturalness that you would have otherwise. You know, as soon as the camera's on, like, oh, hey, nice job. Like,
yeah, you're like,
why are
dude.
you talking like that? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's really interesting too, because like sometimes the people that do that are the person that I would least expect to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the part where you're like, wait a minute, it's like the introvert guy's still being the same. You know?
Yeah.
Like,
Fine. Totally fine.
Yeah, that's funny. So, but anyways, I think that was the long way of saying that I'm open to other things, but I don't know if I don't know where I stand with the Insta. Like, I feel like it's definitely checked a lot of boxes, but we'll see. We'll see where I end up. Have you made the like have you screwed around with the 360 stuff yet?
That's one thing because I am so like anti making my workflow any more difficult than it already is. Like any extra step, and I'm like, I'm out.
Yeah.
No more extra steps. Like all I want to do is find a way to make my workflow easier, not harder. And there's some, like, the 360s get some fucking awesome shots. Like,
yeah, there's some cool stuff you can do, man.
Some of the ways that you can use it, like, I get it. There's some cool shit.
Yeah.
But as soon as it's like, oh, well, you have to run it through their software first and you have to do all the framing. And I'm like, nope, I'm out. thanks, thank you, but no. I'm like,
I
I'll
feel
figure
like
it
we're
out.
in the same club, dude.
I'll figure it out a different way because not doing that.
Yeah,
It's
it's definitely
cool, but
like
it ain't for me.
it's definitely that one added step of like complexity.
Oh,
It's like,
it'll
oh
cripple me.
man, I don't. Well, and then the other problem is like you just get stuck in like another infinite loop of like tweaking shit.
Yeah,
You
dude.
know,
Yeah, I would
like
spend hours just in that one thing, in that one piece of software, on that one clip, like because it
yeah,
could do this, and I could do this, and I'll make it this way, and I'll make it that way.
yeah.
Yeah, no,
I
can't do
u-
it. I already know.
for a while, I like sometimes I would film with the one thing I do miss about my GoPro is that they had that square view
Yeah,
where
the
it's like
8x7.
basically
Yeah,
like the
yeah,
whole
yeah,
fucking sensor, right?
yeah.
And so for those of you guys that aren't like camera or editors or whatever, it allows you to like while you're editing, choose which part of that picture you want in there. So you could film it one way and you could make it vertical or you could make it horizontal like you're used to seeing in YouTube. And also if your angle is not right on your chest, you can fix that. But that is where I started running into problems because then I'm like, oh, now I'm tweaking the angle of the camera while the video is happening. So it's adding more like
Yep.
editing.
Mhm.
Whereas if I just put it on and it may not be perfect,
Mhm.
that's all I have. So I'm
Yep.
like, that's what I'm using, or I'm gonna
Mhm.
use, you know what I mean?
Yep.
And yeah, it's definitely been it's interesting. It's
Yeah.
interesting that like I'm glad to hear that you feel a similar way because
Yeah.
your some of your stuff is so artistic. I would have thought you would have been
Mhm.
like, yeah, no, I'm on the train.
Yeah, there's been times, believe me, there's been times where I was like, you know what, just for one shot, I would go get that one, and like just because I would envision a shot, and I'm like, I can only go to the 360 camera. I'm gonna go get one. I'm gonna figure it out. But I've been really trying to go more raw. Like I think raw is maybe in right now. Like the
Mhm.
more raw a video is, I think the more um, accepted it is now. Like I feel like there was a period of time where like really produced stuff was more like your Casey Neistat, right? Like his shit is so overproduced and so over the top in its production value, right? But now
Mhm.
it's like I see so many people that just do the most raw videos you can make and they do great. And I get it. I feel like we've gotten to a point where people almost appreciate sometimes a video that looks more raw because it seems more real.
Yeah.
And it just seems like there's less manipulation, there's less potential for AI, or it's more real, it's more raw. And I think people are kind of really gravitating more that way, which I get, and I'm okay with that. But I like to do artistic cinematic stuff, so I'm trying to find that
Yeah.
balance, right? Like
Yeah.
I forced myself, like one thing I did specifically in the last few videos and that I'm going to be doing all year is I'm like, you know what, from now on I'm not bringing my ZV E10 as a vlog cam because I would use it as a vlog camera. I'm just going to vlog with my phone or the GoPro, and that's it. And that's what I've been doing, and it's kind of cool. Like it looks a little bit less professional to me, but no one else cares.
Mhm.
Nobody
Yeah.
cares. Nobody. So
Yeah.
it's like I want to find ways to, when I want to be cinematic and I want to tell a story visually and go to the edge of my abilities in terms of making something that looks like a film and it's cinematic, I can go do that. But when I want to just get a story out there, like today's video is kind of more that way. Like it's not crazy production. There's not a bunch of color correction in it. There's not a bunch of filters and shit on it. It's really just a bunch of clips straight out of the camera, just plopped into a video, and
Mhm.
that's it. And it still looks good, but that's okay. And I'm trying to find that balance.
The bottom line is that story is king. And I thought about
Story is
that
key.
at the end of your video. I was like, the story is king because it almost didn't matter what I was watching on the screen. I was actually like most interested in what you were saying about what
Hmm.
happened.
Yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I
yeah.
mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah. 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 Yeah.
And
No, it's good to hear.
Yeah, and I think the other thing too is like I said it earlier, you kind of just said it just now. Like most people don't look at our videos the way that you would look at from a um like somebody that creates.
Yeah.
You know, like when we do all these like fancy things, it's really just for ourselves and our
It
friends
is.
that do these videos too. And they're like,
Yeah.
dude, that was
Yeah.
cool,
I
man. Right
know.
on.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
like I love it whenever I see like one of my buddies, like other YouTuber buddies, is like, nice edit, dude. And it's like,
Totally.
oh,
Yeah.
that felt cool, you
Yeah.
know, right on, you
And
know.
I feel like you edit a lot like I do, just very clean. Like there's not a lot of trendy transitions and like
Yeah,
just just artsiness for the sake of artsiness, like just
yeah,
like trendy bullshit just for the sake of it, just because
yeah,
like big whoosh sounds and like you know
yeah,
what I mean. Like
yeah,
yours is a lot like mine, where your edits are very clean, like nice graphics, simple transitions, just clean visuals. And I know like
yeah,
when I watch your videos, I feel like, okay, that's really similar to how I would have edited that. So I
yeah.
appreciate that.
Yeah, that's super cool, man. Sometime I would like to like do something where somehow we have some footage that's not any one of ours, and like 4 or 5 of us all get the same footage and then see
That
what
would be
story we
cool.
get to make out of it,
That
you
would
know?
be cool. Yeah, that's a great idea. That's a great idea.
I,
That
I
would be
feel like
really fun.
yeah, it'd be fun just to see like who like what you each person grabs and like which story that they decide to tell, you know?
Yeah. That's really interesting. That could be really fun.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like I'm gonna make it happen this year. Maybe I'm gonna
That would be really cool. I'd be so into that.
I had a spot or I had a thing where not too long ago, um somebody in the Slack group had put out a video, and I was like, man, if you don't mind, I feel like I could like show you where to make some cuts and
Mhm.
like make the story like have a better pace.
Yep,
And they were like,
yep.
yeah, go for it. And it was actually really fun for me to edit somebody else's footage.
I
And I
bet.
would have never thought that, but I think because I didn't have any emotional tie to it, it
Yeah.
was
Oh
so
yeah.
easy for me to be
Definitely.
like, that needs to go, that needs to go, that needs to be
Mhm.
faster.
Mhm.
That could zoom in. Oh, I like what he did there. You know what I
Yep.
mean? And it was really it was kind of a fun process as far as a creative. I'm
Yeah,
sure
totally.
like yeah, I don't know. But yeah.
That's kind of like in a small way, that's what I noticed. What I noticed when I take, let's say, an intro, a 45-second intro to one of my videos. That's part of a long form video, and then I go make it a short to be a short, right? So I'll
Mhm.
when I go back through it the second time around to turn it into a short, every time I find something that can go. And by the
Yeah.
time I've re-edited it as a short, I like it better.
Yeah.
like, I just trim a little here, a little there, and it's like every time when I go back through it and cut it for a short, I'm like, should have done that the
So
first
do
time
you
around.
make like say your video that you put out today, would you make a short of that that's like trying to drive traffic to that video?
Um,
Or like
Normally I would, yeah, normally I would, but
so
that
that
video,
like yeah, maybe not that one is a good
yeah.
example. So but that's what you do is you
Hmm.
make a short that is trying to intrigue people to go watch the long form.
Yeah, that's my feeble attempt at getting that bulk of my audience that's a short form content watcher to
Mhm.
watch my long form. Um, is I'll try to is yeah, I'll try to find a good part, and not necessarily the intro, but like some part of the video that I thought
Yeah.
was cool, and I would chop it up into 30 seconds to a minute, and then release it as a short, and then with the link to the long form video, which it's very rare that that's very successful. Um,
Yeah.
but
I
to
feel like
me,
my creative process for shorts is like I just come up with something that I think is funny or I
mhm,
just want to make it. And
mhm.
it really never has anything to do with my long form content at all.
Yeah, I'd say that's probably most of the time. That's what I do. And the best success I have with shorts is always just a really dumb little technical video. Like I install a little part or
Yeah.
something like that. Like I'm gonna do a short probably next week of me just changing the paddle, like the little rubber paddle on my Axis shifter pod,
Mm-hmm.
and that's all it'll be. I'm just gonna add the little rocker switch to it. I promise you that short will do well.
Yeah, that's
And
funny
it's
how
gonna
that
be
is.
it's just gonna be literally me taking off, bloop, 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 put a new one up, boop, done. And that'll be the short, and
Yeah.
it will do great.
I accidentally made a really good one a couple months ago, and it still surprises me how well it's doing, because I made this video about e-bikes, right? And when I made the video, I was entirely being sarcastic and trying to make it like a diss on e-bikes. So the video is like I'm living proof that riding an e-bike is not the same workout, right?
I remember that one. Yep.
And then it cuts into me like a couple years ago when I was super fat, being like, "Oh God."
I remember
And
that
in
one.
my mind, like, it was me like showing like e-bikes are not a good workout because look, I got fat, right? And I thought it was fucking hilarious. And some people think it's hilarious, and other people are like, "See, look at how well he did." And I'm like, "No, like, I didn't want to appeal to you." But apparently, like, I accidentally made it appeal to both groups, and I was like, "Son of a bitch." How did I do that?
The shorts. The shorts is it's the Wild West, man. It is the Wild West. I've been called every name you could possibly imagine in some of my shorts. Any of my shorts
that video are great.
Any of my shorts that have done well have I've been called everything.
Yeah.
And it's pretty funny.
Yeah,
also,
and honestly, like, to me, like, I read that stuff, it's all comical to me. You know,
it is.
like
It definitely is.
I think fortunately I'm a person that stuff doesn't like typically dig into me at all. Every once in a while somebody will say something and I feel like I won't be mad about what they said. I'll just be like wanting to give like, oh, I got 16 things that I want to say to them, but I only get to say one because otherwise I'll look like a crazy person. So like,
yeah. No, I read them all, and 99% of them is just like, it's ridiculous. And every now and again, like I'll get like a negative comment that actually helps me. Like, I was just talking about like whoosh transitions. Like there was a period of time, there was a couple of videos where I was doing those, and there was one video where I did way too many.
Yeah.
And a guy called me out on it. He was like, "Why don't you do a few more whoosh transitions?" And I was like, "Fuck this guy. What are you talking about?" And then I watched it again. I was like, "God damn. God, that is too many. That is too many." And I sure enough, next video, they're gone and they haven't been back since. And I think it's better, honestly. And I was like, you have to get over like that. There's like that initial, like, this guy doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. Screw this guy. And then you step back and you think about it and you're like, shit.
Yeah.
Maybe that one's actually got some weight to it. Sure
some
enough.
validity there, right?
Yeah. And he was right.
Yeah.
It really was. I watched it back and I was like, no, I get it. It's too many. It's too many.
Right. I never get any. I haven't got. I don't. Well, if I have, I probably just didn't. You don't know what you're talking about. Put as many damn whooshes as I want.
Yeah. Wait till the next video. There's gonna be double the whooshes.
Yeah. And I'll actually even call you out on it. So this one guy said I couldn't do any whooshes. Whoosh.
Watch this. Yeah.
There it goes.
All night. Yeah.
I'm a whoosh is coming out. Whoosh. And whoosh it out.
Yeah. Bring it in. Bring it in. Yeah.
Oh man.
Dude. I did want to shout out to so you see James Day in the comments down there in the chat. So this is his company. He's the one that built this bike, this Corey cycling stave. Yeah, so he designed it, built it, welded it, painted it, everything. So I just want to give him a quick shout out because he has built the most beautiful bike that I own. So I just want to say.
So those of you guys that are listening, the shirt says Quarry Cycling Company. Where are they out of?
Like an hour north of me. So here in Wisconsin.
Right on, man. It's a hardtail I see in the background. Is it all hardtails that does?
Yeah. This actually right now, my whole wall, all 6 bikes are hardtails. It's a hardtail. I feel
like you got a problem, dude.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. Oh, there he is. Yeah. Yeah. So he's a very, very talented guy. If you're into just beautifully built and very well thought out geometry and a bit of artistic flair, that's the type of bike that he builds. And yeah, it's right down the road.
you're probably going to be able to relate with this, but right now I'm in this stage where I don't need a hardtail anymore, and I've been like, I'm going to sell mine, and the only reason that I'm like haven't posted it on Facebook Marketplace yet is because I also know every time I've sold my hardtail, within like 6 months, I'm like, yeah, I really need another one.
Yeah. I kind of became a little bit of a hardtail hater for a little bit for like maybe a couple years where I would only ride my hardtail for fat biking in the snow, which is that one. And then my XC race bike, which is over here. So I would only ride a hardtail a couple times a year, and it was like, this is really uncomfortable and this is stupid. Like, why?
Yeah.
And every bike should be a full suspension. And then I got this thing, and it's completely changed my perspective, because I've never had like a what I would consider like a hardcore hardtail, or like a gnarly hardtail, like with a decent fork and good geometry and a big dropper post. And it's like, dude, now I'm about it. I am about it.
That's the way I felt with my Chameleon. And it's just like, oh man, this thing's so fun to ride. And but lately I've been like, oh, I should just get like a short travel XC bike. You know, my almost 50-year-old back will be so much happier. And then like what happens is like it's just not the same. And
no.
And I feel like I'm gonna be like, because I've already sold and bought this bike more than once, the exact same frame. You know what I mean? So like,
just
like,
keep it.
Do I really want to go down this rabbit hole again?
No, just keep it.
Yeah, I feel like I should. The other thing is I have a 27.5 plus wheels on that bike, and that frame is 27.5 plus, and it's also at a spot where that's kind of like, it might not be out there that much longer. So I'm like, do I want to keep that just because like,
that's
there's a part of it that I enjoy, you know, as long as I can still get a couple of sets of tires, probably be pretty decent. Do you ride 27.5 plus on any of your stuff?
I have a 29 plus. I have one 29 plus. That is my like wife's. So in the winter, I'll set it up as like my front suspension 27.5 fat bike, and then in the summer I put 29 plus wheels on it for her to ride it as a mountain bike in the dirt, like in the summer. So it's kind of, she likes that it's a little bit wider tire, and she feels more stable on it with the big tire compared to like a 2.5 inch tire on a regular mountain bike. So so I still have I still got a little bit of plus life going on over here.
So you got a bunch of hardtails. I know we're like right around the 2-hour mark here right now anyway, but I want to ask you this because I feel like you're a good person to ask. So in my mind, I'm always questioning, is the 2.8 27.5 plus, would I be just as happy if I just put like a 2.5 or 2.6 29er on?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, your overall diameter changes a little bit, right? So like your rollover changes, you know, the way the tire rolls will change because you're going to have a smaller overall diameter with with your standard 2.5.
The thing I really like about the plus is like that I can lower that pressure down, so it's like more suspension.
Oh, so the side, you have so much more sidewall. You got a bigger overall diameter, so it's going to roll better.
Yeah.
So it still has its advantage, in my opinion.
What's that?
It still has its advantage, I think. I think especially if you've come to learn to like the advantages of the plus tire, you're gonna like that plus tire feel better than something close on a standard tire on a regular 29 or 27.5.
Yeah. You didn't help.
Nope. Sorry.
I feel like this is a good video. I just have to actually just go make it, and it's one of those things where I'm like, I need to change my tires. I don't
I know. I know. I would rather build a bike than change tires.
That's funny.
Changing tires sucks. I would rather just build a whole bike. Like, give me.
Yeah,
it's more enjoyable. It's just changing tires is just a fight.
Oh man, dude, I could keep talking, but I'm gonna go ahead and call it. It's been 2 hours, and we've
been at it for a minute.
Yeah, and we've gone at least 30 without like another technical problem. So I feel like
that was pretty good. Yeah, we had a really good chunk there. So you
Good,
can be proud
good
of that.
run, man. Dude,
Yeah.
really appreciate hanging out with you. I'm glad you're okay. Honestly,
Thank
like
you.
super,
Thank
super
you.
glad you were able to edit that video today.
Yeah, me too. Thanks for having me on. It feels good to talk about it as well. So it's
Yeah, I'm sure.
I
Right on, man.
immerse myself in the community. I love it.
Right, right. So any of you guys, if you haven't listened to any of his content or checked out any of his content, check it out. The Dusty Dutchman. The link is in the show notes or whatever platform the thing that's down below has all the description. It's in there. And otherwise, go to YouTube, just search it, or Instagram. I'm sure it'll come up just the same. Anyways, if you guys want something for free, just remember this. It only takes a bike to be a biker. Get out and be one. There you go.